Hello and welcome to another benefit of the Doud Review. I am your host, Adam Doud, and joining me as always is co-host Cliff. What's up, Cliff?
Hey, what's going on? I'm highly caffeinated and ready to roll.
Yeah, it's a little early for me to be this loud, I admit, but here we go. Here we've got a review slated up, a take two of the review, and it is definitely not a Tuesday now, so don't worry about it. It's not a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. We were just talking off air about how we shouldn't talk about like what day it is.
Mm,
So anyway, because you won't be watching this on the same day we record it, because that's how post production works.
that's
Anyway,
right.
we are here for a review of the this is actually a Christmas present, so it's appropriate for the season. So Cliff got me a Christmas present, and it is it speaks to me in several different ways.
Right.
Being a former musician and being a music appreciator and whatnot. But why don't we just go
An
ahead
aficionado,
and
if you will.
pull up Skippy and let's just show everybody what I'm talking about here. And
And
here
here
is
is
Skippy.
Skippy.
And there is the mute button that I missed again. Anyway, come for the
That's all
text,
right.
stay for the screw ups. Anyway, yeah.
Sometimes it's just
Anyway,
nice. It's nice to sound like you're in a baseball stadium and you're listening to the announcer.
yes. Pinch hitting for Pedro Borbon, Manny Mota. Anyway,
Mota.
so this is the Uxbridge Voice Marshall speaker, and this is exactly what it looks like. It's a little Marshall speaker that sits on your table, or in my case the shelves right next to the little guitar microphone guy that Cliff got me, was it last year, 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Something like that.
Um, but yeah, so this is a speaker made by Marshall, and it's called the Uxbridge Voice. And you might be wondering, like, oh, the voice, it must sound really good, right? Well, that's only half of the
Mm.
voice that we're going to talk about, but that's a little teaser for later. We're gonna get into that. But so I did already kind of like a hardware tour. You've got some LED lights on the front, which we'll also talk about a little bit later. Not really much going around on the sides. On the top, we have five buttons actually, but three toggles for treble, bass, and volume. And then this is your play pause button, and this is your microphone mute button. And now you're probably wondering to yourself, well, why would it need a microphone mute button?
Right.
What is this? I mean, what is this speaker that has a microphone that you might want to mute? Well, I will tell you, folks.
Mm.
This is the Uxbridge voice speaker because it has a voice, that of Google Assistant. So
Ooh.
not ooh. So not only is this a sweet sounding speaker, but it's also a Google a smart home thing. So yeah. So and that's pretty cool. I mean, that's kind of like my intro. Cliff,
Right.
you got this for me as a Christmas present, so
That's
thank
right.
you very much.
You're welcome.
But yeah, what drew you to this originally?
Well, obviously, knowing that you're into the metal, into in a former musician, I thought,
I'm into all the metals. Thank you,
yeah,
children.
that's right.
Hello, fellow. How do you do, fellow kids?
But yeah, so I thought that aesthetic definitely worked with your persona, if you will, and
Mhm.
actually, this is something you mentioned that it has buttons, like physical buttons. That's something I
Yeah.
really like. I've actually got a pair of headphones right now that are also marketed to someone who likes metal, who likes um, who also might be drawn to like something with tactility. You get so many speakers that they have they might call it a button, but it's just a capacitive piece of plastic, right?
Yeah, it's a touch sensitive thingy.
And so there's just something about the tactility of physical hardware buttons that I like. I mean, granted, it
Yeah.
is something that can potentially break, but one thing about Marshall stuff is it's built to last, and I assume it's going to be the same way with the
Right.
Uxbridge. So
Right. And I mean, this thing is kind of built like a tank. It's actually fairly substantial. I guess the next thing that would make sense would be to go ahead and play some
yeah,
music through it, and so that we don't get a copyright strike, we're just going to play the introduction to one of our podcasts here. So I need to go over to this. Has built-in cast
yeah,
or cast built into it. So when I open up the Chromecast menu, I can tap the Marshall speaker and
bloink.
All right, we don't want to hear my voice.
And we are
no, we don't want to
live.
hear my
Hello,
voice. I'm going to pull the music. Is and I mean, this is going to be really hard to hear through like a microphone. This is kind of maxed out a little bit, but I mean, it's got some thumping bass to it.
It does. I mean, I can tell that just through listening to my headphones here that it's definitely got the bass.
It's punching. It's punching, baby. But yeah, and so like, and you could even take it even farther by cranking up the bass. Like the bass wasn't even halfway up in that particular instance. When you adjust various things like the volume, the LEDs light up at the bottom to show you kind of where you are. So this is the bass, and I'm turning it up and down.
That's cool.
And then the treble, turning it up and down. And then there's your microphone mute button. The LEDs turn red, and you can turn it back on, and you can play and pause.
And we are live.
Heyo! I don't like the sound of my own voice. I never have.
I don't think anybody does.
But apparently,
I don't think anybody
do.
likes the sound of their own voice, to be honest. So
you don't think anybody likes the way my voice sounds? My God, you are so cruel.
That's.
I also question your business decisions in that case. But anyway,
everyone just comes to hear me for that one. No, that's not true. So yeah, that is actually kind of nice that it does have a microphone mute switch. I know a lot of smart speakers definitely do not have that, at least built into the speaker itself. It's something that I guess you could do through maybe asking the speaker to do that. But if you just wanted to use it as a speaker and not have it respond every time you say the G word,
right?
There you go.
Right. And I could for a couple episodes ago we did kind of like we talked about the A word from Amazon, and we did a comparison. We were kind of comparing it against the G word assistant, and this was actually the speaker that I was using to do those demos when we were saying, okay, A, turn on the lights, and then okay, G, turn on the lights. This is the speaker that was actually in the background doing that. You might have even seen it. I don't know. But yeah, so I've been using this as an assistant speaker for the past several weeks. It's done a great job. I used to have a Google Home Hub up on my upper shelf here, and it has the screen, and it's kind of silly to have it up there because like you can't see the screen up there. So I replaced my old Lenovo Smart Screen with the Google Home Hub, which by the way is a lot smaller. Like I didn't realize how much counter space that Lenovo one was taking up. But anyway, so now this is my primary. Yeah, this one is now my primary Google Assistant down by my desk.
And we should mention that the Uxbridge is also, it's available in two flavors. So you have the Google flavor, but then you also have the Amazon Assistant.
I was going to say, they have one with the A word as well, which I mean, based on what we talked about in that last episode, spoiler alert, the A word ain't so bad, but like right before we came on to record this, I was reminded about why the A word kind of annoys me because let's be clear, as good as the smart home controls from the A word are, that thing was designed to get you to spend money, and that is
exactly.
That is like a priority number 1, 2, and 3 on the list, followed by tell you the weather.
It truly is just like, and it doesn't tell you, it doesn't have like a specific sound for those specific kind of notifications. So you get like a, hey, basically, and you're thinking, oh, maybe a package has arrived. Maybe there's something significant in the news. And it's just like, hey, you want to buy something based on your purchase history, and you're just like, no, go away.
No, I don't. You know how I know I want to buy something? When I go buy something. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into
right. We've kind of discussed this already, but that is to say, that there are different strokes for different folks, two different flavors of it available, which I think is really cool. There's not a whole lot of other assistant speakers out there that offer you both. So.
Right, exactly. But what I really like about this, and this is kind of a side note, kind of goes along with our Snow Pro review that we just did was between this speaker and the Snow Pros when I was reviewing those, when I was using those to review, I got done for probably over a year at this point, maybe even closer to 18 months. So when Cliff sent this to me as a Christmas present, I'm like, that's pretty awesome. Let's try to pump some music through it, and let's see if I can actually listen to music while I work. And it turns out I can. So that's really cool. So I appreciate Cliff for giving me the gift of music.
Exactly. I'm to the point where if I'm doing my normal profession of graphic design, I really it's very hard for me to work without having headphones on and sort of masking the outside world and getting into that flow state that I do without having some music on. So I appreciate having something
I agree.
like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my problem is I usually listen to like the same like a lot of the same music over and over. So it's like I'll start singing along with it, and I'll be like, no, I have to focus. I can't be thinking about those words. I need to be thinking about these words. But yeah, no, it's been really great being able to just jam out some tunes while I've been working or writing or proofreading or what have you. So
It would actually be really
it's been
funny.
really great.
It kind of looks like a practice amp.
It kind of does. It looks like one of those little.
I just wonder if someone
guitar
would
amps that you could take along to like a music space and But yeah, so it should be mentioned there is no input here.
Right.
So this is all like Bluetooth or Chromecast or Google powered. It's not. There's no quarter-inch input or anything like that. Which honestly kind of feels like maybe a little bit of a miss.
Yeah,
considering the brand. I mean, I'm not sure I want to hear just like a guitar playthrough here, but no, I mean, it's got good enough sound that I think it actually could probably be a pretty decent practice amp if you wanted to tote it around. But at the same time, I could also see,
or just having like a 3.5 millimeter input to if you wanted to plug in something like an iPod that doesn't have Bluetooth built into it to use it as a speaker without Bluetooth. That is kind of that is a miss for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more like quarter-inch, obviously, for like an electric guitar or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it's fine, and I like the sound. I think it's a little bit. It misses out on the mid range a little bit, so like you get a lot of thump in the bass, and you get like a lot of high end, but it just kind of seems a little bit hollow in the middle. That's fine. I mean, it's not going to be, it's not going to be the most amazing speaker I've ever heard, obviously, but at this size, there's only so much that you can do. But I like it. I mean, it's really. And here is the OnePlus Open for size comparison. It's almost a cube. It's flopping all over the place. It's almost a cube. You can tell it's a little bit taller than it is wide, but and it's got rubber feet on the bottom.
The price, right? So nice. That is nice.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think right now, because of the holidays, when we're recording this, you can get it for like $129, I think, through Marshall.
Yep.
I think it's normally $179. Is that right?
Well, so the number that they have crossed out says 219. I think.
Okay.
I can't tell because it's
MSRP
tiny and crossed out. But yeah, so that's the MSRP. This is probably one of those like forever sales, though. If I had to guess, how much is this thing on Amazon? Did we look that up yet? I don't think we did.
I did not, but you do have an Amazon speaker there. If you really, I'm just kidding. I have a feeling it probably.
I do. I'm not going to use it though because I don't want to encourage it.
We'll make it learn.
Oh, you want to buy stuff, huh? Okay, well then let's do this. So so on Amazon it's $171. So it's definitely cheaper to go through the Marshall store. I'll put links to both in the show notes. So if you have a a burning desire to get this through Amazon and pay $50 more. I won't argue. But that's kind of up to you. But yeah, so like overall, for like if you can get this for 129, that's a solid buy. Because it's a great sounding speaker. It comes with the Google Assistant functionality. It comes with the cast functionality. So like any phone that you're using that has casting, you can do that. And so, yeah, I just think in general, this is a pretty, it's a pretty good deal. It's hard to go wrong.
I think it.
Yeah, I just turned the microphone back on.
I feel like it sits in a fairly unique space, and what I mean by that is typically, if you're buying a smart home speaker like a Google Home or something like that, it is more of like the $29 to $50 range,
Sure.
right?
Sure, but they don't sound as good.
Right. Or your alternative is like something from Ultimate Ears that is, or a Sonos or something, which is significantly more.
Yeah.
So this kind of sits in that happy medium. It's like not quite audiophile grade, but it's a lot better than like, the $29 assistant speaker that you can get for sometimes free, during like Black Friday. It's kind of in its own little space, and it's a happy medium, I think. As long as you don't like have to have the huge mid-range
for
presence.
sure. Yeah, exactly. And you'll get a speaker that will definitely fill a room. And that's so if you're having a holiday party, you want to play some music to set the tone, this will definitely do the job.
Very cool.
I think that's going to do it for this review. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about there, Cliff? Any other final thoughts or notes?
No, one thing I just love the this is just me, and everybody has their own personal love, but I just love the brass, like the metal fittings on it and things like that. It just screams like Marshall to me, and I love the way Marshall. I mean, I always love the look of a Marshall half stack. If you see that and when someone's playing out, like that. The sound's going to be there. So I don't know. It just screams rock to me, and I like it. There's not a lot of other speakers that look like it. So
I agree. So that's going to do it for this particular review. Please consider subscribing to this podcast if you enjoyed it. And if you really enjoyed it, you can hit that subscribe button, smash that bell so you can be notified of new episodes and reviews as they drop. Be sure to like this video and maybe drop a comment down below. Is this going to be your next smart speaker? Because it could be. I'd like to thank co-producer Cliff for all of his hard work behind the scenes and for this lovely Christmas present that he gave me. But most of all, and as always, I'd like to thank you for listening and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.